Before I get started, let me read through our role as a board and kind of the format and how the meeting will go today. We're the 2025 Board of Equalization Review for Union County, and we have been appointed by the county commissioners to hear all taxpayers with respect to concerns/complaints regarding the valuation of their property for tax purposes. Property owners appearing before the Board of Equalization and Review have a right to a fair and equitable hearing. The Board of Equalization and Review has been charged with ensuring that the proper legal principles have been applied in a valuation dispute for tax purposes. So as we get started today, the property will be located on the monitor, so we're all looking at the same property. The books that we have here, you have one up there, so you'll be looking at the same information that we have. And once the property is located, the county staff will do that. We'll give you 10 to 15 minutes to kind of present your information to the board. If you could keep it to 10 or 15 minutes, when it gets to be about 13 minutes, the clerk is going to call like a 2-minute warning, on you to kind of let everybody know. After you present your information to the board, members of the board will have an opportunity to ask questions of you. When that piece is finished, you'll have a seat. The county will do the same. They'll come up and present their information. We'll have a chance to ask the county questions. And once they finish, I will give you a chance to rebut. Keep in mind, any and all questions need to be directed towards me as the chairman. Once we hear all the cases today, we'll go into the deliberation phase of the hearing. You're welcome to stay for it. We don't take any comments during that time. Normally, you'll be notified by the county, via writing within about 30 days. Please remember, if you're presenting any sales data today, it needs to be as of 1/1/25 or prior to that date, because the date of this property reevaluation is 1/1/25. So we can't look at any sales data or consider it, if it's after that date. By statute, the burden of proof is on the taxpayer to demonstrate that the assessment is erroneous. Only taxpayers or licensed residential or certified real estate appraisers licensed to do business in North Carolina may express an opinion of value of real property. No other persons, whether attorneys in fact, attorneys at law, or corporate representatives, are entitled to express an opinion of value of real property. So with that, if you could, everybody make sure you got your cell phones silenced, and we'll get started.
All right, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
We are going to start with hearing number 2, and the parcel number is 05084035. The taxpayer is John and Mary Hayes. We'll have them located. They are also here for hearing number 3, so we will go right into hearing number 3 after we hear hearing number 2.
Okay.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Nick Parker for the county. We are looking at a small equestrian lot. We're looking at a vacant parcel today. This is on the outskirts of Waxhaw. So here's Waxhaw over here to the left. These are the train tracks that run outside of Waxhaw, and then there's 75 right there, just to give you a little bit of your bearings. I'm going to go ahead and come in on the property so you can get a better understanding of the parcel. Does that work for you, gentlemen?
Yep. I'm good.
Okay.
Everybody else good?
And I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Hayes.
Okay.
Hi, folks.
Good afternoon,
Just
Mr.
take right
Hayes.
here. Hi, hopefully I don't get too nervous and I can present this in an orderly fashion.
Yeah.
Nick was telling me, who are the people on the board, just for my notes? There was a gentleman, Dutch, that's you?
That's me.
Okay. And there was a Mark Ashcraft?
He's not here today.
Not here. And a Tom Smith?
Me?
Hey. And a Bob O'Keefe, that's over there. And a Jim Benton?
Right here.
Hey, Jim.
How are you?
I'm great, how are you? And that's it, right?
Yes.
This gentleman here's,
No.
okay. All right. I'm actually appealing two parcels, but let's talk about this number 5 one that's up on the screen right now.
Yeah, we're going to just take them in order as they come.
Okay. All right. In 2024, the tax value in that property was $157,700, as you know. The tax value in '25 increased to $300,900, which was a $143,200 increase of 91%. Okay? Nick Parker, a few weeks ago, had sent me an email, and we had a pleasant conversation at length regarding a 45% discount being given on 3 acres of the land, which reduced the value by $39,300 to $261,600. Okay? And while I appreciate Nick's offer, I believe that the following detriments to our property justify a further reduction in value. One comp that was given to me has a value of $240,900 for almost the exact acreage is 10.17, mine's 10.1, I think. And I'm hoping that my appearance before the board today doesn't negatively affect Nick's proposal value of $261,600. So the detriments to our land, as I see them, is when the new values arrived in the mail, I had called Don Ziegler, who had previously come out of our property during the last revaluation with a team of 2 other people, and evaluated my property and saw the concerns that I had with it. And as a result of that, they increased a couple of things, and they put a 45% decrease on 3 acres of land that was obviously in floodplain, could not be used, developed, couldn't be used for pasture or anything else. So apparently that's on the record on my other parcel that we're going to talk about. But I'm just bringing that in to introduce that I talked to Don Ziegler. So I asked Don, I said, gee, Don, why do property values go way up to 91% on vacant land versus the 13.9% it went on the land I have adjacent to this that has a house on it, same acreage, 10 acres? His reply was that there's a high demand for housing in Union County, and a lot of people want to move into town. He said developers and builders are buying up 5, 10, 15 acre parcels to develop them. I said, well, geez, Don, you've been out there, and you know that we live in an equestrian community that has a deed restriction limiting it to only one house can be built on a 10-acre parcel. It can't be multiply subdivided into these different pieces. So the value shouldn't reflect what could happen to a 10-acre parcel that has no such restrictions on it, that you could build 20 or 30 houses on it, okay? So in our conversation, Don suggested, why don't you file an appeal and see what the board says? So here I am today, okay? A couple things about this land. Most of the land in this equestrian community doesn't perk, okay? Which further limits the possibility of building additional homes on this 10-acre parcel, okay? So saying that most of the land doesn't perk, the house next to me on their lot doesn't perk, such that they actually pump their sewage into a leach field on this 10-acre parcel that I own, which further decreases the value of the property or diminishes its desire as far as marketability on that. And the folks that live to the right of me, okay, they also have their sewage, they pump up to a higher level of ground on their own property, but nevertheless, they're pumping it a good distance away from their house. And the house that I have that's on the adjacent lot, my house, I pump the sewage a good 200, 250 feet away up to higher land where they could find land that perks. So this land is such with the deed restriction, the perking and so forth, you can't go and put 10, 20, 30 houses on this piece of property, okay? So falling back on what Donnie was telling me, that Don or Donnie, that these values went up greatly because all these developers are gobbling these parcels up to build on them, okay? All right, the other issues I have with it is the land, as you know, pointed out, borders the railroad tracks, okay? So Snow White Field Road runs through the piece of the property there you see on the screen there. So Snow White Field Road comes in, it curves, and it runs down the lower part of the screen there. That leaves me with a sliver of land, you can see the forest area, between Snow White Field Road and the railroad track. That even if this land didn't have deed restrictions on it and perked, you couldn't build houses on that. It's too narrow to get the clearance away from the railroad track to do anything with it. And Snow White Field Road takes up acreage off my property. So I'm paying taxes or valuation on land that's a community road going through there, and the land between the railroad tracks and the road is nothing I can do with it. I mean, it's just too narrow, too slim, and you can't encroach close to the railroad tracks for any structures or buildings. So the usefulness of my land is limited from Snow Whitefield Road back to the back, okay? Which takes off about another 2 acres or so off that land, reducing the size of the parcel. Okay, the next item is, and this is the big elephant, is the proposed Waxhaw Parkway. I'm sure you folks are aware of this. Okay? The route that goes through my property, through both parcels, is the only route that's been approved. There's discussion about having an alternative route, and they're saying that, at the hearings I've been to, they might want to use both routes. But the only route that's been approved is the one that goes through my 2 properties and comes around. Okay? I talked with James Kelly, the Waxhaw Traffic Transportation Engineer, that's spearheading the work on this thing as to where this road goes and what have you. And he says, and I asked him, I says, how are you going to get, when the road comes around, they're talking about it coming around through my barn, alongside, within 50 feet of my house on the other property, taking a right-hand turn, swinging, and coming right up to the right side of my property, on the property line there. Once you make that corner there, they're talking about building a viaduct, okay, over the top of Snow Whitefield Road, over the top of the railroad tracks, and dumping down into Highway 75. Okay, envision, if you will, the viaduct at Martin Luther King Boulevard, over there by Food Lion, that comes up and over the railroad tracks, over the highway, makes a U-turn, it comes back down onto Highway 75. Okay, that's what they're proposing. That's what we're looking at. Okay, so when I look at that, I have to disclose that to any potential buyers. So if buyers come up and say, "Hey, Mr. Hayes, boy, I'd love to buy your property. Okay, how much do you want for it?" I give a price. I have to disclose. Oh, by the way, there's a red line on a map. Okay, a proposed bypass on here that involves the construction of a viaduct that goes over the railroad track and Snow Whitefield Road. So it's not just a flat little road that goes through there and says, okay, here we are, here's a nice little road, that you have that, okay? So there's that. That's the big elephant in the room. The next thing is the comparable parcels that were given to me by, I don't know if Nick did them or who did them, whatever. Those comparatives they gave me don't have deed restrictions on them that I know of, okay? I wasn't privy to their HOAs and stuff, but there's no deed restrictions on them. There's no perk issues that I know of them. There's no railroad bordering the property on an active track that goes through there 10, 12 trains a day, okay? And there's no proposed Waxhaw Parkway viaduct on any of those comparables either. So to say that these are comps and they're the same, they're not, okay? And there's one comp on there that's actually valued at $240,900, which is about the same size property as mine, which I mentioned in my first point. Okay? I also have some personal experience with property where roads are proposed to go, but aren't funded, aren't paid for, aren't this, aren't that, okay? It's just a line on a map. I used to own property in Mecklenburg County, down where Ballantyne is now, okay? And they were trying to align 521 in South Carolina through Ballantyne as to where the Harris family wanted to have that road to develop Ballantyne, okay? What they did was, I was out front planting trees on my new land that I had bought, and the neighbor comes in and says, "What are you planting the trees for?" I said, "Well, I'm planting them because, I own the property now, I'm going to be building a house on the property." He goes, "Don't waste your time." He says, "On the news last night, they announced that they're going to put 521 realignment right through your property." I said, "What the heck are you talking about?" So I did some research, and sure enough, there were 2 or 3 proposed routes. 2 of them went right through the property I'd purchased, where I was going to build a home. And I said, "Crap, what am I going to do now?" So I called, being in the construction business, I called builders I knew, I called developers I knew, I called realtors I knew. I said, "Hey, anybody want to buy this land? It's available for sale. Okay, I haven't started building on it yet, but there's, the 521 realignments proposed to go through this property." I couldn't get a buyer to touch it. They said, "Nope, can't do anything with it." The reason was the unknown, okay? What is it going to be, okay? Once it was put on the map and they said, "Okay, here's where it's going to go," then everybody knew, okay, here's where the road's going to go. Then it was marketable at that point, okay? It could be sold once they see it. So potential buyers, and any of us, all of us are just afraid of the unknown. If we don't know what we got, we're going to shy away from it and not step up for it. And I have to disclose this information to any potential buyer. So that gives the potential buyer, even if I have somebody with a bag of money that really wants to buy it, okay, I still need to propose it. What do you think the first thing they're going to say is? They're going to say, gee, Mr. Hayes, you got this road coming through here. Not only is the road, but it's an elevated viaduct going through here, and I don't think I'm willing to pay the price that you're asking. Okay, how about if we come to something that's quite a bit substantially less, because we know that road's coming through at some point.
Yeah, I got your point there.
Okay? So everybody says, okay, don't, this thing isn't coming through. I'll tell you when it's coming through, okay? As soon as whoever owns that land over there says, we want to develop it, the road will be built. It'll be built, okay, because what'll happen is, and this is what happened in Ballantyne, as soon as the developer says, hey, we're going to donate the land for the road to come through here, we're going to donate the land for the firehouse, we're going to donate land for the library, we're going to donate the land for a school or what have you, we're going to do all these things that certainly help infrastructure in the tax base, okay? And suddenly, that thing will rise up on the list, it'll be here quick. It happened in Ballantyne, they said, oh, it'll be 5-10 years out. Okay, 18 months later, they had the road designed, improved, and they were cutting the road through, okay?
Mr. Hayes, you have 2 more minutes
All right.
on this one.
That's how quick that happened, okay? So, the bottom line is, the negative impact on the highway cannot be understated, all right? And then, as before, when I said with Donnie Ziegler, when he came out with the scene, again, I invite the appraisal team to meet me out on the property, take a look at it, see how beautiful this place is. It's a beautiful piece of property, the whole neighborhood's beautiful. And to envision what it would be like with an elevated highway and a viaduct going over the top of everything.
Let me see if members of the board have questions for you, before we, get to the next one. Then we'll hear from the county.
Okay.
If you don't mind, Mr. Hayes.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, if you would stay right there.
All right.
Mr. Smith, do you have any questions for Mr. Hayes?
So it's deed restricted and can't be subdivided, correct?
Correct. It's deed restricted to 1 house per 10 acres.
1 house per 10 acres.
Right.
And
That's in the HOA
you
covenants.
have already 1 house putting septic on the lot already?
My neighbor's house is putting septic on the lot now, yes.
Okay. And do you know if there's any availability for excess capacity from what's going already?
I do not. I haven't had it perk test, but I do know the 10 acres my neighbor owns, they couldn't find a spot anywhere on it. That's why it got put onto mine. And the neighbor to the right of me, okay, he pumps it uphill to a small piece he has across Snow White Field Road and puts it there. And they had issues with that septic field not leaching properly, okay? In fact, it made a mess of the next door neighbor's property.
Okay.
So the perking in that area is very difficult.
And you said it's roughly 2 acres across the road?
I haven't measured or surveyed, but that's my guess. It's roughly
Guess.
2, maybe 3 acres, looking at the picture there.
And you have, based on what you've seen, where the viaduct may cross your property, where does it go? Is it just on a corner, or does it go through the middle? I have no idea.
Actually, if you look at the purple line on the left side of the drawing there, actually, the red line that they drew on it, okay? And again, what they did is they just took a marker and drew a line and said, here's where we want to put this thing. And boom, it affects everybody's lives. It goes just to the right of the purple line, which is my property. So it takes off the left side of my property, right to the right side of that purple line there. Now, I'm in the construction business. Now, to build a viaduct to get over that, you're going to start piling up dirt as the road curves out of my other parcel there, makes a curve and goes up. You got to start building that gradually up to get the right incline to support traffic.
Right.
So it's a good pile of dirt that they're talking about putting there.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Minchin?
Not at this time, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. O'Keefe?
When you purchased this, were you aware of the deed restrictions and all that?
I was certainly aware of the deed restrictions. We have
Okay,
horse-
thank you. That's really
We
what I
have,
needed.
we have horses, and we bought it because we have horses.
Got it.
But we did not know about this proposed road.
Thank you.
Okay? That's why it wasn't disclosed to us.
Yeah. And just so I know, I'm just kind of maybe comparing it to like when they were dealing with the Monroe bypass. With this proposed viaduct that goes over your property, I imagine, will it be the state negotiating with you to buy your property, or buying a portion of it, or buying all of it?
It's not that far along.
I mean, they're going to have to. It's
Yeah, but I mean
affect-
eventually.
Eventually.
It affects several properties in the neighborhood.
Right,
So, yeah, they're going to have to do land acquisition.
right, okay.
Right.
Let us hear from the county, and then when they finish their part, I'll call back to you if you have any final comments.
Okay, and then we'll talk about the other parcel?
Yeah, and then we'll do the other one in order. Okay,
Okay.
so Mr. Parker?
All right, thank you, Chairman.
Good afternoon.
Good
Good
afternoon.
afternoon.
I'm going to try and dissect this, the concerns in simplest of order that I can. Let's start with the bypass first. So we're talking about the bypass goes in a certain area. The bypass at this point doesn't go anywhere. The bypass is not funded. The bypass is in theory right now. That's all it is. Okay? It's not reality right now. So we don't know what and we don't know where. Okay? It's all a guess currently.
Discussion.
So there's one. Two, let's talk about Snow White Road just briefly. The road does go through his parcel. There's no question about that. The road also goes through the parcel to the right and the parcel to the left. And just so we're all on the same page, we do treat those parcels equitably. We don't give anything off for any of the other parcels for that specific road, for that specific reason, just so we're on the same page there. As far as the value goes, if you look on page 25, there is a simple analysis as far as price goes. We originally started off at 30.055 per acre. That fell right in line with the analysis for the neighborhoods and the vacant sales in that area. Okay? It also fell in line with all of the other parcels in his neighborhood. I proceeded to take a look at the parcel with my supervisor. We felt like there was enough topo on there to warrant some sort of a discount, which Mr. Hayes mentioned. We gave 3 acres at 45% off, which lowered his value to $261,600. And if we're comparing apples to apples within the neighborhood, that makes him the second lowest overall value in the neighborhood on that particular parcel. Other than that, that's it. That's all I've got for you.
Okay, let me see if members of the board have any questions. Mr. O'Keefe?
No questions.
Mr. Benson?
I had one, but I think I got it, Mr. Chairman.
Any consideration with that drain field on that property? Is anything,
No, sir. Again, we gave 3 acres at 45% off discount. If I look at everybody else in the community, first of all, there are homes that perk, or there are lots that perk in the neighborhood. I know we talked about no perk.
right?
But obviously, there are homes there, so something's got to be perking.
Right.
So at the end of the day, we felt like the 3 acres at 45% discount was equitable.
Yeah, and somebody, I think early on, he mentioned something about flood. Was that kind of confused with topo to start with?
Probably,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. So it's topo, there is no flood.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, it's topography.
Right, okay. Mr. Smith, any questions?
On the other comparables, are they able to be subdivided?
So when we price land, we don't price based on whether they subdivide or not. We price land as land. So yes, the other ones are subdividable, but at the end of the day, we price land for land. So we're not considering whether it's subdividable or not when we value it.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
One other question on this, on these comps, that lower one, the last one, at 24,090 an acre, is that a neighboring property?
So none of the comparables that we used were neighboring. They are all within, in which comp again, please, sir?
The last one, 002C,
002C.
is below the highlighted line?
Yeah, they're all within the neighborhood, but they're further away.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I do have one more question.
Hold on, one more question, Mr. Parker.
Absolutely.
So these here, how many of these are in the neighborhood, or any of these in the neighborhood?
When I say in the neighborhood, I mean the
General
rural area.
Yeah.
None of these
General
are
area.
actually within
Okay,
the specific equestrian neighborhood. They're all in the surrounding area.
Okay. And do any of these adjoin the railroad track?
No, sir.
Do you give any consideration for adjoining the railroad
We
track?
do not, but again, we are equitable with all the other parcels along those railroad tracks. We don't give off to anyone. It's considered rural area. It's typical within the rural area.
Thank you.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
thank you, Mr. Parker. Mr. Hayes, as it relates to this particular property, any final comments on this one before we go to the next one?
Yes, I want to kind of comment on some of
Okay, if we could do that real quick so we can get to the next one.
I will. Okay. Where is it? Okay. Regarding the proposed road, okay, saying it's proposed, it's not funded, yada, yada, yada. As that road comes out from Highway 16 where the CVS is on North Broome Street and comes down, there's a farmer's market there, okay? Right now, there's a developer trying to propose a multifamily development there, which would be along this proposed road, okay? So right now, there's all kinds of heated discussions at the Waxhaw Town Hall going on, last 3-4 meetings, okay? So much so that Channel 36 was down there at the last one, last Tuesday. And they said they'll be at the next one because it's such a heated thing, nobody wants to touch the thing because they want to build that thing. So as soon as they start building those developments along that track, it's coming, okay? The train's leaving the station, and here this thing comes, like I said, with the funding for this thing, as to what's going on that, okay? No consideration for subdividing, okay? I was a builder, I'm retired now, okay? I'm not gonna buy a 10-acre lot that I can't only put one house on, okay? So that's gotta have some impact on the value of the property on that, all right? And this parcel here that's at that $240,900, the last one on the list here that we talked about, I mean, I have no idea why that one's so much lower, other than maybe the sales date on it is 2023. And they're referring back to that.
Yeah.
But if the sales date's 2023, it might want to give us an indication as to what's going on with.
We'll take a
land
look at
va-
some of that data, in the deliberation phase.
Yeah,
you know.
with land values, all
Okay.
right?
So if you would, let's move on to your next one.
All right, thank you.
All right.
All right, at this time, we'll call hearing number 3 for property key number 05084036. Mr. Parker will locate the property.
We are actually, it's an adjoining parcel with Mr. Hayes' house on it, so it is this parcel right above it here. There you are. There you go, Mr. Hayes.
Oh, that's it?
No, sir, you're ready to go.
My turn?
Yes, sir, your turn.
Okay, hi. It's me again. All right, this one's kind of the same verse, second is the first, Henry VIII, okay?
Yeah.
Is that, I've got this 10-acre parcel, okay, and you're looking at it here. This proposed parkway, okay, so you'll see I have a barn there. The proposed parkway is going through that barn, along the side of my house, within probably, I said 50 feet, I really don't know, because again, it's just a red line on a piece of paper. Then makes a right turn and comes up over to the next parcel there. So what's happening is, here this, again, if I wanted to say, okay, gee, Mayor, let's give up the horse business, we're not gonna do horses anymore, let's move to the cul-de-sac, okay? I put this on the market, okay, every realtor says you gotta disclose there's a proposed highway going through here, okay? So again, that's the biggie, okay? And you have, I'm sorry, got my notes mixed up here a little bit. And again, I go back to the thing was with the proposed highway, I went and reached out to several developers and builders and real estate people to try and sell property where a proposed road was going and could get no action on it until they knew exactly what was going to happen. And again, this thing's not funded, everybody says it's not funded, but I can tell you, there's heated meetings in Waxhaw. Every meeting has this subject coming up about this darn road, all right?
It's just hard for us to consider anything while it's still in the discussion phase, though. You follow me?
I understand.
Yeah.
But I present to you, okay, if you were looking at buying a home or a piece of property, and they disclosed to you, by the way, there's a proposed 4-lane divided highway going through this property, it may happen in 5 years, it might be 10 years, who knows, okay?
Right.
Are you not going to consider that in your
I
decision-making?
get that,
Okay, all right. That's
But
my
as
thing.
the scope with which we operate in is It's difficult, very difficult.
Well-
And
I mean, you got to put a human element on this thing,
Yeah.
okay? I mean, I'm 70 years old, okay? So, true, I may never see this road, okay? But, okay, when they start building this thing, the developer's going to put the pressure on it, and again, we're fighting. Our neighborhood's fighting, a lot of people are fighting. I forget the name of the darn development. But it's right along this route, along past CVS there off Broome Street, where the farmer's market and everything is.
right, I know where you're talking about.
They want to put a multifamily development right there. They're pushing for that, all right? If and when that gets approved, you know, the train's coming, okay? It's coming down the tracks. And I would say, and I'll tell you again, this thing will happen. As soon as the developer says, I need that road to develop this property over here, it's going to happen. It'll find funding somewhere, from the developer, from private interest parties, whoever, okay? I mean, it's a line on the map, but, I mean, it's something that's got to be contended with if I try to sell this property,
Right.
or anybody in that neighborhood. And just because the other people in the neighborhood haven't raised a fuss about it, okay, and they haven't felt, as passionate about it as I have, to say, okay, well, we value theirs the same and they're not complaining. Oh, we didn't give consideration to that because they're not complaining, okay? I mean, yeah, I'm the guy complaining here because the major part of this darn road's going right through both of my pieces of property. All right?
And-
So-
Okay.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah, so it's the same stance on this property, I take it, yeah, as the other. Let me see if members of the board have any questions as it relates to this one.
All right.
Mr. Smith?
Any issue on the value of the house structure itself, or is it purely the land and the possible impairment?
Well, the value of the house, when Mr. Ziegler came out and looked at it, the house is in need of some repair, okay? So they gave me some credit. This is where the floodplain thing comes in, okay? It runs through this land, that upper corner where that little panhandle is on the land. It runs down through there, and there's a fairly deep creek that during a storm gets flooded. You can't do anything with it. You can't put pasture on it. You can't do anything. So they gave me credit of 35% on 3 acres there, okay? And then we looked at the house. The house is in need of some repair, and they gave me some credit, for the deck, for this, that, and the other. And the barn wasn't on the tax records, that big barn you see there. So they added that, and, and we went around and had an honest, open discussion and said, okay, what do you got? What do you got here? What are you dealing with? And Mr. Ziegler was very, very communicative with me, and I felt very equitable with his team, saying, okay, yeah, here's what you got, and I could see the impact of the lay of the land and what have you, and what's going on. No discussion at that time of the highway, because we didn't know. He didn't bring it up. Nobody brought it up. We didn't know where it was. This thing just kind of dropped in our lap probably about 18 months ago. All right, and we've been, as a neighborhood, been fighting this thing tooth and nail ever since. So that's the situation there. The other thing, I just comment on the other parcel, Mr. Parker was kind enough to do the 45% on those 3 acres.
3 acres.
I asked, what 3 acres are we talking about? Are we talking about the 3 acres from the border across Snow White Field Road or whatever? He said, well, it's topo, and we're just trying to be equitable with the values and stuff. And I asked, not to challenge him or anything, but I wanted to understand, because when Mr. Ziegler came out, they specifically said, these are the 3 acres. And if you look at the plats on the tax map, it's in purple. It shows those 3 acres that are floodplain or not buildable, what
Shows
have you.
lines.
There's
Yeah,
lines that show that.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. So I asked, because I wanted to understand, because next time this comes around, I don't want to be singing the same song and say, well, we already gave you credit for that. We already gave you credit for that. We already gave you credit for that. So I'm not sure what the 45% is getting me. And is it also etched in stone that from now until the end of time, that I'm getting 45% off of 3 acres off this parcel?
We can get that clarified for you.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Question, Mr. Benchin?
No, sir.
Okay. Mr. O'Key? No, thanks. Let us hear from the county on this one, Mr. Hayes, and
all
then
right.
I'll come back to you.
All right,
Okay.
thank you.
If you turn to page 29, that's where the analysis starts for this particular parcel. I've used 8 comps. I've used a combination of comps from Valley Farm, which is another equestrian neighborhood, which is very close to this one. I've also gone out a little bit further within the rural area to come up with some additional comps, but we've tried to be consistent as far as the similar acreage, similar qualities with adjustments, and then going down through effective year built, condition, square footage, and so on. But at the end of the day, the analysis seemed to indicate that the number that we were showing for the market value was actually a little under.
And it sounds like there was a discovery too with the barn, or not?
The discovery was previous.
Previous,
I believe
okay.
that was a previous reappraisal.
Okay, okay. Any questions, Mr. Benson,
No,
County?
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. O'Keefe?
He talked about an allowance on floodplain and 3 acres. Were there any other than the condition of the house?
On this particular parcel,
I believe that's what I understood.
we do have an allowance for topography floodplain on the back side of the barn area right there. I believe that if I were to turn on the contours here, hang tight 1 second. You can kind of see on the back side of the parcel here that, and I'm sorry that it's kind of faded, but it drops off fairly significantly on the back side,
Gotcha.
which is where we ended up giving
An
the
allowance.
discount on.
Yeah. And to his question, does that adjustment stay on there going forward?
It does.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
on there permanently.
Okay,
Correct.
okay.
I will say, though, that could change depending on what sales say in the next reassessment or the reassessment after that. If flood is more or less valuable, we will
Right.
adjust that. So it's always possible that could kind of go away because we're not seeing a difference in value with flood versus non-flood, or it could
Right.
get bigger. So it's all going to be based on what if the sales are of that
Right.
reappraisal
So
year.
the taxpayer needs to stay attuned to that?
Right.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions from the board? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Parker. Mr. Hayes, just any final comments on this one?
Yeah, just to clarify, okay, and I don't know how to do the pointy thing here, but as I understand it, when I looked online, okay, it wasn't so much the contour of the land here, or the topography. The topography, if you look, you really can't see it, but on my screen here, you'll see that the lines are like extremely close together in that panhandle section of the property. Nick, do you know how to move that over there? You see what I'm talking about, see how close the contours are here?
Let's do this.
Yeah.
With the
Yeah.
aerials on there.
Right. Okay, if you see, you can kind of see they're kind of faded there, but there's a creek that winds through all of that, okay? It runs off pretty quick, and during storms, I put a 5-foot culvert pipe in there to get from that parcel to the next parcel, okay? And that 5-foot pipe during a thunderstorm fills up to within about 2-3 inches of the top of that water, and that's why my understanding from Mr. Ziegler is why they gave me credit on that. And my understanding was that was a permanent thing that they were putting on the property, not something that could be taken away at another time, okay? All right, the other comment I have is we keep going back to these other comparables, okay? None of them, and I repeat, none of them are next to the railroad track. None of them have perking issues. None of them have deed restrictions as to the number of homes they could put on. So all those homes in Valley, whatever, okay, they could sell them off and say, okay, Mr. Developer, come and pay me my 2 or 3 million, okay, and build your 30 houses on this land. All right, you can't do that with mine,
Yep.
okay?
Understood.
All right, thank you.
Understood. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Hayes.
Yep.
All right, that brings us to hearing number 4 for property key number 05165533. This actually has been rescheduled for a later date. So we'll move to hearing number 5.
Okay.
That is for property key number 02199005B. The taxpayer is Derek and Karen Hodge. They are also for hearing number 6, so we will start with number 5 and then call 6 into play next.
Good
Okay.
afternoon. Hi. Hearing number 4, or I'm sorry, hearing number 5 and number 6 is the same taxpayer.
Right.
And 005B is the highlighted section that you see here. Let me turn off these colors. And then 011 is right beside this parcel. Those are the 2 parcels that we will be speaking about. And this is right at the corner of Olive Branch and East Lawyers. if you're familiar with that. If not, it lies just north of Wingate and Marshville at the corner there. Hopefully those numbers are off.
There we go.
There we go.
Yeah.
So the
Okay.
first one we're talking about is 005B.
Hello, Board. My name's Derek Hodge. I've owned this property for a little over 30 years, and the reason that this small remnant piece became a remnant piece is because my adjacent landowner decided he wanted to drill a well on my property, and we found that out, so we traded the land, basically squared off the property line. So if you see the 02199-013, Hain Rushing, I've got a survey, I think I might have included this. So if you take the purple line and extend it down towards Olive Branch Road, he basically dug his well right there. And being a nice neighbor, I said, well, we'll just square it off, and he gave me $100 for that piece of property, okay?
Gotcha.
Now you've got it appraised at $28,000 plus. If you look at the topography on this, I don't know if any of the appraisers went out to even walk this land, but if you turn the contours on this, it's about a 30-foot drop straight down. Property line's only about 90 feet. There's a creek down through there. When they were building the bypass, they tried to do some finagling with wetlands, and they commoditized wetlands, and they said, well, we'll buy some here and negate stuff with the bypass with a water easement or whatever. So it's in the floodplain. It's not usable. My content is that, I mean, everybody gets offers for property. You know, I get them all the time. This is because they don't look at it. It's 1.4 acres. Everybody looks at it as a single-family house, single-family lot. The comparables they gave me are in subdivisions with a road, flat land, buildable dimensions on the piece of property. This has absolutely no road access. You can't even put a helipad on it to get in with a helicopter. This is the, I think, 4th time I've been in front of a Board of Equalization arguing this point, because it's always the same thing. It's an unusable piece of property. Yeah, I was being neighborly when I got it. But again, I'll take a check for $28,000 for it right now if y'all like to do that for it. But that is, I mean, I'm a pretty logical individual, reasonable. How do you put a value of $28,000 on that piece of property? I do not know, and that's the reason I'm up here. Okay, it's a matter of principle. I was flipping through the channels several weeks and called a commissioner meeting.
Make sure we're staying on the mic there too.
Okay. Flipping through and caught one of the commissioner meetings, and it was one where the appraisals came through and everybody was uproar and they presented it. Okay, this is what we've done to the valuation of the land in the county. Well, the next person up was Alan Balcom. And he was the one that was preaching, we need to preserve all of this open space. We need to preserve farmland. We need to do this. We need to do that. Save the wildlife habitat. Well, what's going on is that this hand and this hand are not aligned. The prices that you're putting on this land will not and part of this is for the next parcel too, but my farm income on my 40 acres doesn't even half pay the taxes on it currently. I farmed it for 30 years. I have a person that farms it for me. And, you know, the elephant in the room, and this is just my soapbox, is that nobody knows how to pay for the jail that's coming on. Nobody knows how to pay for the water and sewer infrastructure that's supposedly been promised to the county. So what's going on is that you're raising prices of all this land. I mean, everybody's gotten their tax bills. It seems like it's pretty level, revenue neutral. But next year, we're going to be in for a hurt. because that will jack up, you got the value, you're gonna jump up the rate. But the elephant in the room is how to pay for that $300 million jail that's coming down the line. Okay?
Let me see if members of the board have questions as it relates to this specific one, Mr. Hodge. Mr. Benson,
No, I'm away for the county.
Mr. O'Keefe,
Going to wait for the county, thanks.
Mr. Smith.
I want to be clear what your other property is here,
Right beside it.
the left side.
Yeah, it's one that's got the 2 fields and the pond in the middle.
9011. This one here.
That one.
Yes. That was gonna be my retirement, well, I'll get into that later.
Any reason you haven't combined those two properties?
Just haven't had the need to.
Well,
You know?
We'll get the county to clarify this too. I'm wondering if the value is 13.7 versus 28.2. But I'll have the county clarify that when they step up. Okay,
Okay.
so let me hear from them, Mr. Hodge, and then I'll have you come back up for any final comments as it relates to this parcel.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Am I correct there, Ms. Chastain?
You are correct.
Okay.
So I believe that maybe Mr. Hodges did not have an opportunity to open up the email that we sent.
Okay.
And so the managers did approve to take this to unbuildable at 75% off due to shape, and it's now 13.7 for that parcel. I did speak to him about combining that and also applying to the farm program, and we did send an application and give him the option to do that, and, gave him some options on even filing for untimely, and then
Right.
bring it before the board
Okay.
for both those parcels.
'Cause-
But that's, the new value for that parcel is 13.7.
So to piggyback on what Mr. Smith said, he would need to combine the two.
He actually qualifies without the
Without
small
combining.
piece, but I don't know why you wouldn't put that into, combine it. I mean,
Okay.
he can definitely, I gave him all the information to speak with Brent Smith
Okay.
and to discuss the advantages of maybe combining those and what he could possibly do. And we did send the application as well.
Okay. So the big adjustment on this one was the unbuildable
It was,
piece
yes.
applied to it?
Yes.
Okay.
It is, yes.
Yeah.
That's our recommendation, is 13.7 for unbuildable, 75% off.
75%.
And that's from the original value. So the 28 that he's mentioning has flood, and we gave for 45% off for flood in the areas. So unless the county wants to write him a check, we need to do 75%. So we took
Right.
the flood off, and then I think we broke it down for you on the, I think it's on page 54. There's a
54.
statement at the bottom that tells you exactly, that the price was 28, and then it went to 13. And then I believe that the original price without the flood would be 54.7. And we took off the flood and reduced it to 75% off for unbuildable, which brings it to 13.7.
13.7. Okay.
That's correct.
Let me see if members of the board have any questions. Mr. Smith?
Nope.
Mr. Benson?
That was a huge hike. Was that because, was that just the county trying to make that more in line with current value, that initial hike?
It would be valued just like all of the properties in Union County, all of the vacant land. If you look, there are vacant land sales on page 54. So it would be in line with all of the vacant sales. We would treat that just like everybody else in the county that's in the rural area. We would use the vacant land sales. And then from those land sales, that's where the 54,000 would come from. And then you add the influence of the 75% unbuildable.
All right, so you were just kind of bringing it online.
We are.
All right, thank you.
Mr. O'Keefe? No question. Okay. Thank you, Ms. Chastain. Mr. Hodge, any final comments on that one?
Well, I got one more question or
Okay.
comment on that.
Were you aware of the reduced value, though?
Yeah, she gave me that.
Right,
She
okay.
did. But back in 2021 with the reevaluation, it was valued at 8,200 and it was reduced with this evaluation or this board to $3,100 for that part, that 1.4 acres, so it's less than an acre. And now it's 13,000. That's 400% increase on something that's, yeah, it's bottom land. I mean, that's all it is. It's bottom land. It's a hillside. The hillside, turn the contours on, it goes like this. You know, it's unbuildable, it's unusable, has no road frontage, and it's, you know, feel like you're gouging the customer here,
Okay.
to tell you the truth.
We'll have you, just stay there
Okay.
for the next one, okay? So I'll have the clerk call the,
All right, that brings us to hearing number 6. This is for property key number 02199011, and the owner is Karen and Derek Hodge.
and I don't know that we need this one located. We,
You want to present anything?
yeah. Yeah, you'll go first, but we know where the property is, so, okay. So we'll let you go ahead and present on this one, Derek.
When I bought this thing, it was before all of the Austin Hills to the left was put in. I bought it to basically build a house to retire on. Wanted a pond, wanted to fish. There's a draw where the pond is, we just dammed up the draw. Everything to the right is wetlands. Austin Hills, when they were developing that, decided to use my pond as their sediment basin and basically filled it in with all the runoff from Austin Hills, but Diener said I couldn't prove it was all of their dirt, even though that was the only denuded area there. So that was like fighting the government again, too. I farm it front and back.
This is Austin Hills over here to
Yes,
the left.
all the little subdivision stuff there. And they built, the ladies out of Indiana, I think, that has a modular home business, and she acquired that because somebody defaulted on some stuff. And she's approached me several times to sell my land for an access or whatever from the backside, and I don't want to do it. I come from a farming background. I love open land. You know, my farming family is from South Carolina. We, you know, had 1,200 acres down there that we farmed in tobacco and cotton and soybeans and wheat. I three-crop this. The Purse boys farm it for me. They do corn, soybeans, and wheat. The 20% I get on that farm income doesn't even half pay for the taxes currently before this reevaluation. You basically doubled or more the value of the property. And even though that the revenue neutral, if I read it right, revenue neutral on the tax bill that I have, next year is going to be different. So guess what? I'm going to try to develop it, put as many houses on it as I can, and there goes that open land that Alan Balcom was preaching for. I can't afford it, can't afford not to, because of the taxes being placed on this piece of property. So I just appeal to you. There's a farm beside me that is in the farm program, pays like I could reduce my bill to $70. I farmed it for 30 years. I feel like it's in the farm program. It's just not designated. We used to get farm subsidies on it back when they gave those things out. But my adjoining piece of property over there is sold for $2 million, but its valuation is a whole lot less, and that's in the stuff that I sent you guys to. But, you know, I'm just appealing. It's the fourth time I've been up here for the number of years that I've had it, and I think I gave a spreadsheet in my packet that shows the increase and increase and increase of all of this stuff. It's got to stop somewhere, guys. It's going to drive people out of here. Thank you.
Yeah, hold on just a second, Mr.
All right.
Hodge, and see, Mr. Benson, any questions? And he's got to leave, okay? Mr. O'Keefe? No. Okay. Mr. Smith? Okay. Let us hear from the county on this one, Mr. Hodge.
This one's very similar. On page 45, you can see the vacant land sales there. And this property was just, it's in line We did not feel like that any adjustment could be made here. Again, we did send the application to, you know, we are supportive of the farmers, and we would like for him to have that option if he chooses to.
So it's not in the use value program currently, but qualifies for it?
He-
Okay.
He can make application acreage-wise. It hasn't been reviewed because he has not
Right,
applied.
but I mean, the acreage size, and it looks like what he's doing with it, you know, would possibly.
Possibly, yes.
qualify. Okay. And then, so it's on now at 10,387 an acre?
It is, yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Questions, Mr. Smith?
Any consideration given for the pond?
We do not for ponds.
Because it's not farmable or anything else.
We do not give off for ponds.
Yeah. I reckon that would be taken out, yeah. And,
So it's not taken out, it is included.
It is included.
Is acreage.
It is. And, you know, just as a note, you know, some ponds are they're utilized
Yeah.
in the farming program for watering, for animal, you know,
Yeah.
whatever they're applying for.
Right.
And is there any consideration for, I believe there's floodplain below the dam, or wetlands, one or the other?
He is
Does
not.
anything show?
If it's not in FEMA and it's not recognized by floodplain, it will
It
not be in
doesn't
there.
show.
It will not.
Okay.
If it is, I believe he is getting a little bit of flood for the 10% and a very, very tiny piece for 45 on that corner there where it backs up to the 005B. It would be right through here. And let me see if I can turn on. And he is receiving that on the parcel.
That was my main question, there's the FEMA.
Yeah, I was gonna see if it will show here. I'm sure. All right.
Okay. Any other questions?
That was it.
Mr. O'Keefe?
I don't think those are working.
I just want to make sure that there's been allowance for flood and for, I'm trying to read
The
the
families.
card. Looks like a 10% allowance and then a 45% allowance.
Okay. So you can see there, the 45 just touches just barely right here. This is all of the 10% flood on this 005B, and it goes right through here, which of course is that pond. So he is receiving the 10% here and just a little tiny bit of 45 in this area right here.
Oh, okay.
But we do not give off for the pond, but a portion of it does fall in that FEMA. So that would
Right.
be the portion inside that would be given.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you, Ms. Chastain. Mr. Hodge, final comments here?
So if you look at it, the other piece is in the total floodplain.
Yeah.
You know, the numbers are numbers, and the sheet that she gave me has sales price, of which I haven't sold the property, but it's called market data. And they have a 2025 assessed land value, and then the price per acre on the sheet. Well, if you do the math, several of the comps are anywhere from 84% of the price per acre of the assessed value versus the sales price. The one that's 92, one's 84, one's 87, one's 90, mine's 100%. And it hadn't been sold yet.
Yeah.
Okay? So how is the math done that it's equitable
Right.
on this?
Yeah.
That's all.
Right. And I can have, after we're finished here, I'll be glad Ms. Chastain can talk to you and maybe help clarify any of it. I reckon
We've
what
had
I'm-
phone conversations, and it's all market-driven. I don't have sale prices. I'm
Well,
an
and that's-
architect. I'm not a
that's-
real estate
That's
person.
what drives the value of the property, though, and primarily, I mean, a lot of times we're looking for the taxpayer to, is there any sales data that you have? to
I
help.
presented offers
Right.
that people want to buy it. It's
Yeah.
nowhere near this.
Yeah, but I mean, what the county's having to base their values on are actual sales.
Exactly. It hadn't been sold.
Yeah, but
Nothing
I mean,
around me
I'm
has
talking-
been sold.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, and when that happens, of course, you gotta go a little further out, but you gotta
Yeah.
stay in the same area.
but some
You
of
wanna
us are
stay as-
wanting to hold on to it
Right,
for that
I got
open
you.
land.
Well, it's not in the use value program, or is there a reason you hadn't put it in the use value program?
I guess I'm just too busy to do
Right,
it.
okay,
I've talked with, what's his name, Brent?
yeah,
Brent, back when this first came out, and I was shocked to see the value of it.
Right.
And he says, well, that period, it's already been, closed,
right.
so.
But you
why
might,
apply?
I mean, there's a possibility, and I would like to be corrected if I'm wrong, that you could maybe still make application and it could possibly be approved for an untimely filed application, correct, to get it in this year? Yes. I mean, that would be a huge help to do,
That's what she pointed out.
Yeah.
I mean, instead of $2,000, it's 70?
yeah.
So,
I mean,
yeah.
I would explore that if you're having that much of it farmed. I mean, would be a huge help. I was under just, when I saw it the first time, just automatically thinking that larger tract was in the farm program, in the use value program.
Like I said, I was gonna build a house out there and
Right.
retire.
Yeah, and you could possibly build a house out there, still
Still
have
be
it
in the farm
farmed, and still
program.
have it in the use value
Well,
program. They'll take
Austin
part of it
Hills,
out, part of it'll come out of it, but,
they sit there, they run their four-wheelers through it, and they hunt they run their beagles for rabbits, and their deer stands out there, and,
yeah,
they've taken my land for their own.
yeah. But I mean, if
There's
you're
there's a
having,
reason why the Europeans build big old walls and barbed wire fence on it to keep
Yeah.
people out.
yeah,
It's open land.
yeah. But
Doesn't
if
even
you're,
have a gate on it.
Yeah.
People can drive up in there.
but you're having it farmed. I mean, it's actively being farmed. It's
Oh,
just-
yeah, until
it's
somebody
farm-
drives up and knocks down half the
Yeah,
stuff.
it's,
but,
it's
yeah.
farm production land.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. But I would explore that. I would explore that with her, because I think that would be a huge benefit to you.
Okay,
All right?
thank you.
Thank you.
Any consideration would be helpful.
Will do. Thank you.
Dutch, I have a quick question. What is your last name?
Step up. Hardison,
I can't see. Hardison,
yes,
H-A-R-D,
yes. ISON,
H-A-R-D-I-S-O-N?
yes.
All right, that'll take us
Thank
to
you.
hearing number 7. That is for property key number 06075058. And the taxpayer is Brian Hickey, and he is present.
I miss my
Let me
mom.
show you on the atlas map, this is, I really like this map. So Newtown Road is here, and this is Waxhaw Indian Trail Road South. Newtown Elementary School was here. And then this is the Brookmead subdivision, and the parcel sits there. So I'll put it and scroll in so you can take a look at the house.
This is number 7. Mr. Hickey.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So I've got quite a bit, I sent quite a bit of information in a couple different groups. So I just want to try to get my bearings here as far as where everything is. Section 53A. Okay. 53A. Okay. Okay, yeah, that's great. So, my issue with the valuation on my house is that I'm being compared to two homes, which were the sales that were the closest in my neighborhood, but both of those homes have a finished basement, excuse me, where my house has an unfinished basement. And the issue is that for a finished basement, they're only adding $15 per square foot, which, for an unfinished basement, it's roughly $22. And with a finished basement, it's about $35 or an additional $15. And so, of course, I'm being compared with that. But, you know, the thing is, when somebody comes to look at a home, they don't ask, the first question that isn't, you know, is this did this used to be an unfinished basement? It's just, you know, clearly it's just finished space. So it's just unfair to try to compare my unfinished basement with, you know, a much bigger home that has a finished basement. And so I put together a bunch of information with adjusted sales prices, and I did that, took a couple of different approaches to it. You know, one was just comparing my neighbor's house, which on one side, they don't have a basement, and the tax value on that house is $1,025,000. On the other side is an identical house to the one I'm being compared with that has an unfinished basement, and that is valued at $1,045,000. So, and I've done adjusted sales prices for all these, for at least the home on the left, and but the biggest thing is that I'm being compared to two homes, and both of those homes have finished basement. So there is another sale in the neighborhood. It's the next closest home, and that home's you know, sold for considerably less. It doesn't have a basement, and so I did the adjusted sales price calculation for that, and that comes out to $1,042,000, and that's the valuation that I'm asking for compared to it was originally 1.166, and that was adjusted down to 1.125. And then I had a long conversation with Dana, and she proposed adjusting it down to 1.109, which, you know, it's just a little bit higher than where I think it should be compared to, I mean, it's a fair comparison or with the three homes, which were the last sales, and you know, the adjusted sales price. And so I just feel that, you know, that's the value that I should be signed.
So to clarify, what your opinion of value is what?
It's the, that is on, I'm sorry, let me look for the page here.
In-
I'm sorry. I've got so much information here, it's like, it's very hard to find in the book, too. I mean, it's all there. But what I'm suggesting is 1.042, and that's based on adjusted sales prices of the three homes, not just the two that have a finished basement, but also including the next closest home, which it doesn't have a basement, but it's you know, it's adjusted for in the sales price, and that sheet is. I'm trying to find the page here. Sorry, it's got so much information here. It's not really tabs or anything. Yeah, it's so in that. Page 53A, the second page there is the adjusted sales price would be $1,042,000, and just to review the, sorry from the microphone here, but just to review the three homes. The first home was
What page you on?
53A
53A.
and 53B.
Yeah, 53A.
Got it. Thank you.
And so the the homes they're comparing me with are the 1.125, and that's on the top of page 53A. And then the second one is 1.10, and that's the second one on page 53A. And then the third one, well, they're all on page 53B. They're all together. So the third one on page 53B is 875,000. And so I feel that, I shouldn't be compared with just the two homes. Like I said, those have finished basements with only adding $15 a square foot for the finished area. Where normally it would be about $90 a square foot. So that's, 25% of our finished area.
Yeah.
I just don't think that's a fair adjustment
Yeah, so
value.
it's really all centered in the basement, whether finished versus
Yes.
unfinished.
Yeah, that's my
Yeah.
objection.
Okay,
And these, page 53B is the comparison, adjusted sales price, where the basement, there's an offset for the difference between a finished basement and unfinished. And like I said, that's only $15, which it's just not a realistic valuation.
I have a comment on that, but we'll hear from the county first. Let
Okay.
me see if any members of the board have questions for you, Mr. Hickey, Mr. O'Keefe.
No questions now,
Yeah,
thanks.
Mr. Smith. If you would, Mr. Hickey, have a seat and let's hear from the county, then I'll
Okay.
give you a chance to come back up and
Okay.
have any final
All right.
comment. Ms. Chastain, you've been fairly busy
Hello.
here, haven't you?
Yes. So our comps start on page 51. And as Mr. Hickey said, this was 1.166, and we reduced it to 1.1259. This is a smaller subdivision. It has approximately 60-ish houses in it. We had 2 basement homes that sold and 2 non-basement homes that sold. We did separate those out. There is a difference in that market for basement homes and non-basement homes. They sell a little differently. So we do have those separated. We did use the 2 basement and let it adjust. I don't know if you remember in '21, the county, we did value basement homes a little higher than I feel like the fee market and bankers value basements. So I think that was looked at this year. And when he speaks about the cost for that, he doesn't agree with the county's schedule of values figure that's
That's kind of
associated.
where I was going. Okay,
Yes.
so, I mean, it's in the schedule of
However,
values.
it is in the schedule of values, so that is why the adjustments are being made on the comps with those numbers, because we have to apply that because it's in the schedule of values that way.
So unfinished is what per square foot? Yeah.
Now, I'm not sure that I have the per square foot on that, I
Yeah,
apologize.
that's fine. I mean,
But that's why the difference. And I understand what he's saying from a construction standpoint, cost to raise that to a finished, but per the schedule of values, that's why the adjustment is made at a
Right.
lower
Okay.
amount. But of course, if the schedule of values were higher, then the values would be higher,
Right.
because it would have been assessed higher. So, yeah, we did speak about some houses this morning. There are 2 that did not have basements, and the Realtor just got back with me yesterday. I did speak with Mr. Hickey before we came up here. 713 Brookmead, I believe, is one of his, just so you know. It has some condition elements. Some of the carpet was ripped. They had to duct tape it and do some things. So it's not shown in the pictures, but when she called me back, that could be a reason that might have sold a little lower. The other house that sold that was not a basement was only 3,800 square foot, and it did sell for over $1 million. The one that sold for $830 that he's mentioning, it sold in '23, and the other one sold in '24, and it sold for over $1 million. So we do feel like the basement homes, they're making the adjustments that the schedule of values allows it to make for that, and we do feel like that that's more in line with his house. I did run a comp late yesterday on if I brought the $1 million non-basement home in, what would that do? And not include that sale that might be a little questionable. And we're at 1.133 when I ran that. So it didn't help him any, so I did not.
Because he's currently at 1125.
He is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was the lowest that my comps allowed me to go, and it was using the basement homes. There's just accounting, it's just making the adjustment for the finished and not unfinished. Yeah.
Questions for the county, Mr. Smith, Mr. O'Keefe?
I just want to make sure that the schedule of values is different, the value is different for an unfinished versus a finished basement.
Correct, it is, yes.
Got it. I just want to make sure that's,
That is correct.
thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Ms.
Thank
Chastain. Mr. Hickey, any final comments?
Yes. So I did, like I said, I did the comp, and I did speak with her earlier, and what I've got on page 53B is it's the 1.042 is what the three homes include, but my point about the basement versus non-basement is, you know, I have an unfinished basement, you know, it's being comped for the finished basement, but it can also be comped for a home that doesn't have any basement at all, and they should be equal comps, whether it's got a basement, doesn't have a basement, you know, a finished basement. There should be a comp value, and like I said, the $15 per square foot difference between a finished and unfinished is just completely unfair. It's not very unrealistic. There's just, you know, it's not just construction costs. It's, like I said, if somebody's going to purchase a home, they're not going to ask if it was an unfinished basement. It's just, it's finished space, and that's all they see. And it's just unfair.
If you don't mind me asking, when you say unfinished, I mean, is it
What it is
concrete with any walls in it, or is it?
concrete, there's no walls. So basically, it's the same construction cost that you would have to.
I mean, but its current state today.
Yeah, current
is-
state is, the walls would all have to be framed, and then, of course, there's framing, and I did get a couple of quotes to get my basement finished, and they range from just over 100,000 to, depending on, like, kitchen, bathroom
Yeah,
fixtures.
how elaborate you want it.
200,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just a very fair.
But it's like a
comparison.
concrete floor.
Concrete floor, concrete walls.
Right, okay, okay.
And then really the only side that is framed is the walkout side, which that's framed and it doesn't need to be reframed. But all the concrete walls on three sides have to be framed and insulated as well.
Okay.
And,
And just so I've got this, my notes right, your opinion of value ties back to your sales analysis of the 1,042,000.
Yes,
Okay, got you.
okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Chairman, do you want to take a 5-minute break, or do you want to keep?
What's the pleasure of the board? We need-
I'm gonna need one sometime.
Yeah,
but-
we'll take maybe a 5-minute recess.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good, okay.
Okay.
Warm up.
This is gonna be a long day. I missed 2 meetings tonight, conflicts with,
Yeah.
that I needed to be at.
right, we'll go ahead and call the meeting back to order, okay? And,
All right, so we will pick back up with hearing number 8. This is for property key number 06180275. The taxpayer is Daryl and Vicky Shipman, and they are present today.
Good afternoon. I went ahead and pulled it up earlier when we were in break.
okay,
I'm Jay. I'm here for Union County. The address is 8833 Kentucky Derby Drive, or Kentucky Derby, and it's in Providence Downs. You're familiar with it, right?
I am.
Which part, there's several Providence
Yeah.
Downs, so.
Um,
You open it up.
This is off Crane Road, isn't it?
This one, yeah, it's Ray Road to the north,
Yep.
Crane Road to the east, Newtown Road to the south, and Marvin School Road to the west.
Okay.
Do you
So
want me?
this is in Marvin,
It's in that area.
or near Marvin.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's in Providence Downs.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's probably, yeah.
I don't think that's in the town. I think it's unincorporated.
It's a Waxhaw address.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Acton. So, Mr. Shipman,
Yes, sir.
how are you today?
Well, I'm old and fat, but I'll get over it. But I can say, at least I got my hair, guys.
There you
I'm
go.
good. Now we're even.
There you go.
Anyway, I'm gonna be short and sweet, and I don't have a lot of complaints or whatever, but I would like for y'all to look back at the lot sizes. I think y'all are still using the 200,000 per lot across the board for every lot. And I have an interior lot that's much smaller than a corner lot or a cul-de-sac lot or whatever. And looking at the aerial view of the comps, it looked like one of the houses had a big addition put on the back, like maybe a sunroom or something. Don't y'all typically try to put that into your values or not?
That would be taken into consideration. We'll have the county speak to it, though,
Okay,
okay?
I would guess, I don't know how you get your numbers on how much that's worth or whatever, but I know.
You could make sure you're speaking into the mic.
Yes, sir. I know you would need at least a building permit to do something like that, and should be a value on that.
Right.
I would think.
Yeah.
And also the pictures of the comps, it looked like there was some serious interior renovations, which I have not done any of those on my house. So that's really the only thing I'd like for y'all to look at.
And looking at it's fine, I mean, but do you have any sales data or anything to kind of support where you want that value
I
to be?
don't-
I mean,
No, I
because
really
that's kind of
don't.
what we have to act on.
Well,
Yeah.
I think you can look at your comps and see if my evaluations are correct
Right, and we'll do
and
that.
adjust from that.
Yeah,
That's all I can ask for.
okay, all right.
I mean, it's not a huge deal. I'm not gonna go bankrupt, but
Yeah.
my social security is only 2 or 3% increase, as you guys know.
Do you have an opinion of what your property's worth? I mean, the county has it on here, it looks like at
Well,
1,357.
we all know that the housing market has gone off the charts in the last 4 years. So I'm not gonna argue about what y'all have there.
Yeah,
If I was gonna do it, I'd come down maybe a couple $100,000 for those items that I mentioned.
you'd be around 1.1, okay. Let me see if members have any questions for you, Mr. Shipman, Mr. Smith,
No.
okay. Mr. O'Keefe? No. Okay.
And sorry to interrupt y'all's happy hours.
No, you're good, you're good. Have a seat, we'll have the county present their information, then if you have any final comments, I'll let you come
Do I
back.
need to stick around?
You don't have to. You don't,
Okay.
well, but if you would, the county will speak, and you might want to stay and hear them, and then you're allowed any final comments, and then after that, you're welcome to leave, but you're welcome to stay.
Well, I'm sure if you make any adjustments, you'll send it to me in writing.
You will be notified.
Okay,
You
well,
will.
that will be adequate, and
Okay.
I don't need to stick around.
Okay. Well,
And
let's-
thank
we'll-
you for your patience.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
But we'll have the county speak to it
Thank you very
right
much.
now, okay? Mr. Acton?
I like standing over here for some reason.
That's, as long as you got the mic, that's fine.
That's it. So, we pulled up the maps, that's on page 9 and 10. You can take a look at a photo of the subject property from the front. This should be page number 12. If you want to review the appeal, it's on pages 14 through 17. But I would like to start with page number 4. Looks like I saved this to the appeal form or in Appeals Pro, and I think it's pretty, it kind of describes what's going on, what's kind of interesting about this house. It is located in Providence Downs. We have it graded as excellent minus, while most of the neighborhood is excellent and excellent plus. So when you're looking at this appeal, he was on the lower side of the value range initially. So I pulled 4 sales from Providence Downs. I pulled 2 sales from Providence Downs that were excellent minus. So I considered the grades in my original BER comper, or market analysis report. So if you turn to, let's see, 29 and 31.
Like on 30,
I think it should start at 29 is what I have.
yeah, like the location map.
Yeah, I included 2 market analysis reports. I included one with 2 outside sales that were graded excellent minus. And at that, it was adjusted out to, with the weighted average, it was 1,523,700. So then I took another look at it, and I pulled another market analysis report, just using sales from Providence Downs, and it came in at 1,482,100. Our original notice or original value was 1,357,100. So both of these support that. I know he brought up the lot size, and I believe that is addressed in the original or the first comparable I spoke about. 2 of the lots do look like they were smaller in size, so I did bracket that and did take a look at that as well.
Okay. And these 2 that are in your analysis that are excellent minus, those are in Providence.
They are outside the neighborhood.
They are outside the neighborhood.
I did not locate or
You
identify
might have
any
mentioned that earlier,
inside
and
the
I just missed it.
neighborhood
Okay.
that were excellent minus.
Okay.
So I did go outside.
To get that. All right. Questions for Mr. Acton, Mr. Smith?
Nope.
Okay. Mr. O'Keefe?
No, I think I understand.
Okay. Mr. Acton, appreciate it.
All right, thank
Okay,
you.
and I think Mr. Shipman has left.
He did.
Okay. All right.
All right, so that'll take us to hearing number 9. This is for property key number 093364442. That was Angela and Eric Franklin, and they are not present today.
Okay.
That takes us to hearing number 10, property key number 0821603C from Myra Bumgarner. And the agent today is Jonathan Bumgarner, who is present.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Okay, so we are in the northern
You might
part
want
of
to
the-
get that mic turned towards you. There you-
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
We're in the northern part of the county. Right here is 601 North, and this is the intersection of Old Dutch Road.
The road.
Let's see. The county line's right up there, so we're up, approaching the county line towards the north. Up there.
Yeah, Hopewell Baptist Church is on the other side over there. Isn't that kind of isn't that close to? That's how far up it is, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay. I got you. Mr. Bumgarner?
So actually, correction, it is Miss Myra Bumgarner who is here today.
Miss.
And she's going to present.
Good afternoon.
Thank you. Good
Yeah, yeah.
afternoon. My son was going to come in my place, but he was not able to come because of work at the last minute. But I did want to talk to you about that property. I was Myra Clontz Bumgarner. I was part of the Clontz clan in that area. And my father left me this parcel of land. It's 1.884 acres, and it will not perk. I had the environmental control come out and do a testing. They dug 10 holes, 7 feet deep each, and there was absolutely nothing. So it does not perk at all. So I was also told that even if there was something out there, a system, they would not approve it because of the way the property was. So even if there is a system that comes up, I still can't, we can't build anything on it. I even thought about horses, you know, maybe we could put some horses out there and bring water in. And, but you can only put 1 horse per acre or acre and a half, or 2 horses per acre and a half, I believe it was. So I really couldn't do that because I couldn't get the water. And so we looked at everything. So right now, the value, well, in 2017 was $9,400. That was the value in 2017. In 2024, it was $11,300. But then this year, it was $69,500. There's nothing on that property, will not perk, less than 2 acres, $69,500. And the tax value at that time was $354. But they did give us a 20% discount this year. Of the
Make sure you're speaking into the
I'm
mic.
sorry,
Okay.
thank you. Of the 22,400, they gave us a 50% discount. But the thing about it is, are we going to have to go through this every year? I mean, we went through all of this. You've got all the papers on record, and then wham, we went from $11,000 to almost $70,000. They did give us, like I said, a 50% discount.
And I'll have the county clarify, but it looks like it's been reduced to 22,400. Is that what, is that?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
I'm sorry if I did not say
Yeah.
that, yes.
Yeah.
That was, the current value is 22,400.
Right.
And they gave us that 50% discount for the tax, for the,
Right. But
yeah, but
but we're on the same page with the value. You understand where the value currently stands.
right.
Is it 22.4, it looks like?
But I do live in Darlington, South Carolina. I had to drive up here. I've got a 2-hour drive back.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't understand why it keeps fluctuating so much.
Yeah.
Why is it not staying
Well, I mean,
reasonable?
and it depends how often the reevaluation happens. I mean, whether it's every 4 years or less.
But they do, I mean, it's in the file. We sent all of that information. We sent the files about the perk tests that were done, the size of it, because they did, it was 2 acres. They took out part of it for a road, so that left me less than 2 acres. I mean, why do we why are we going through this every time?
And we can have the county speak to some of that to hopefully clarify it. Let me see if members of the board have any questions for
Okay.
you, Mrs. Bumgardner.
One here from county.
Okay. Mr. Smith?
You really answered my question. You had provided the perk information to the
Yes.
county. That was my
We were
main
told it
question.
was in our file.
Thank you.
So you didn't have to refurnish it. The county already had it?
That's correct.
Okay. Let us hear from the county, and then I'll come back to you with any
Okay.
final comments you'd like to make. Okay.
Okay, so historically, this property has been in Fairview unplatted neighborhood, which is rural, with a 50% discount for the no perk. For the 2025 reval, it was priced as a home site in a neighborhood, which was an error on the county side.
So that was an error on the.
So that was an
county
error.
side.
So when they completed the initial appeal, we went back, took a second look at it, changed the neighborhood back to Fairview unplatted, which is why you see a percent change of 67% as opposed to the 50%.
Right.
So between the change of the neighborhood and us adding the 50% back, it brought it down to 22.4.
Right. So the no perks applied to the whole thing?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Questions for the county? Yeah.
It'll be page 26.
I always like how the ring holes go right through the number.
Yeah, sometimes.
Mr. Smith, any questions for the county?
So this is based on no perk or unbuildable? I mean, what's the discount from,
It would be no perk and unbuildable. And it's
Which is
what
the-
historically has been applied
which is
to
a
this
discount
property.
off of which, the full value that you had at 60 odd or
Correct.
70,000?
Correct.
So the gross, yeah, picking up on you, the gross value is 69.5, and then those adjustments are being applied to that number.
Correct.
And what's the total adjustment? 75% or it's 25% value?
It's 67%. If you look at
Oh.
at page 1, it'll show you the breakdown. So the original amount was 69.5. That was incorrect because it was priced as a home site, which it's not. We repriced the land, added the 50%, which brought the percent change to 67.77.
I'm not worried about the percent change. I'm just thinking about the discount from the, I guess you call it fair value if buildable.
It would be 50%. That's what was
50%.
applied, yes.
Because 69, well, you had to change the neighborhood, so that changed.
Right.
So what did that change to, so I can just figure the, yeah, the 69 went to what? To what?
I'll come back to you. Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry, you're asking what
It went from 69, then you changed the type, and it went down to.
It went to 44.
Went to 44, then
Yes.
you're doing
And
50%
then
for
50% gets
unbuildable
you
and
to.
septic and
Yes, sir.
whatever.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. O'Keefe?
So the numbers that I'm looking here on 26, the comps,
Yes.
they're all coming in at fairly high numbers, but that's what I should be using. This is what you use for comparison.
Correct, and those are all buildable lots without perk issues.
Yes,
Thank you.
Correct.
I have this issue at the beach.
And to Ms. Bumgarner's
Frustrating.
point, this'll stay, she shouldn't have to worry about anything until the next revow.
Correct, yes,
Right.
we
It's
do have
there,
the documentation.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. And I don't have any further questions from the county.
Okay.
For the county. Mrs. Bumgarner, you can come back up if you have any final comments.
I guess what I'm saying is, I have a piece of property that is not valuable. I mean, there's nothing I can do with it.
Yeah.
Nothing. It's going to put horses there, you can't do that, or at least think about it.
Right.
And I have my will done, and I have left it to my niece. But I can't do that. I'm going to have to take that off, because all she's going to do is have to pay taxes.
Yep.
That's the only thing that property is worth right now, is for us to pay taxes on it.
Right. Understood. Okay. Thank you, Mrs. Bumgarner.
All right, that takes us to hearing number 11, property key number 06024030. This was for Downtown Wesley Chapel LLC. They have rescheduled, so that will be on a future date. Hearing number 12, property key number 06024036. Taxpayer Downtown Wesley Chapel LLC, also rescheduled. So that will be on a future date.
Okay.
And that'll take us to the beginning of hearing number 1 for property key number 07150238 for Jane McDonald. and he is present today.
Give me one second here, let me get you set up here. So gentlemen, we're looking at a parcel in Brookhaven. That's Antioch Church Road right here, and that's Antioch, the school, the elementary school. Just going to give you your bearings. And then I'm going to come in a little bit further to the parcel.
Indian Trail.
Yeah, I know what that is. Matthew's wedding.
It's right across the road.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right there at Antioch Elementary. Yeah. It's where,
It's where Antioch and Forest Lawn come together.
come together.
There's the east side of it, it's the big side, then there's a small side that's in Weddington. This is in the big side in Indian Trail.
okay.
I've got a spreadsheet I'd like to present.
Okay.
The spreadsheet that I'm giving you is a summary of the houses. I think there's 12 houses on the list listed by date of when they were sold. And you'll see the calculations and pertinent information there in terms of price, dates of sale, size of the houses, number of bedrooms, number of bathrooms, and so forth. And to get down to, there was a couple of blocks that did not print out that I had highlighted, and the value that I had to handwrite into the house that I believe is fair is 927, 326, based on those calculations of square foot. And I know appraisers don't like to talk about square foots and averages and things like that, but what the averages do is they eliminate nuances of house to house, of which house had a pool, which house has a better yard, which house has landscaping, which house has been recently remodeled, and that sort of forth. So you get a pretty good average, and it sort of levels out or washes out the differences. You'll even notice that some houses that are exactly the same house or same size house have over a $200,000 difference in the sales price. So there are differences house to house, and so I wanted to present that calculation of what I'm basing my information or my request on.
Right. And these are all in Brookhaven?
Yes.
Okay.
And as a matter of fact, on that particular list does not include all the houses that were sold in Brookhaven, because I eliminated the houses that have a front-facing driveway,
Yeah.
which tend to sell for less number. So I did not include every house that was sold in the past year or in 2024 in that calculation. You'll also see, I've handwritten down what Zillow, we all know good and bad of what they think.
Right.
But just for your information, I recorded what they thought the house was worth on January 1st as well. And the other thing that I want to talk about, I'm not supposed to talk about, is the house next door that recently sold. And it recently sold at 10% less than the appraised value. So my question is, if we miss that one, did we miss others?
Well, and we can't consider anything after 1/1 of 25.
I'm not asking to consider
Yeah,
the value.
okay.
What I'm asking to consider is the accuracy of the appraisal.
Yeah, and
And if we missed it for 10%, accuracy in appraisals is the absolute cornerstone of that industry.
Yeah.
And I think you would agree with that.
And I hadn't gone into it in detail, but it's a lot of good sales data. Does the county have this? Have they had a chance to review?
I don't think they have this particular sheet. I wasn't sure how to really provide that.
Right.
And so I can provide that to the county let them review that.
Well, we've got it, so what
I
we
can
may
do
want
that
to do.
electronically if that
Yeah, let us.
need be.
Yeah, let us hear from the county. I would imagine the number of comps that you've got in there, I'm sure the county has
Well-
some of that in their analysis too, but,
I'd like to hear from the county, if I would, for, just because I find the comps that they use kind of curious.
yeah, okay.
And we didn't really talk about the comps that were chosen. I'm not so sure why we didn't use the last ones that were sold in the neighborhood as comps, but I'd really like to pick it, if I could, the first comp that was used, which actually is not a bad comp in the sense that comp number one, and you probably have that in the file, which is the,
Page 28.
which is the 4023 Cameros Crossing. The house is actually pretty similar to my house, except for a few things. The house layout is very, very similar. And so it's not, in that sense, necessarily a bad comp. I wouldn't have argued with it. I think I take exception to the reduction on the comp and I'm not so sure what the county schedule is, but the difference in the house is several things. One, it not only is, we're looking at 285 square feet difference, and I have no idea how you value that, but there's certainly pretty good cost in 285 additional square feet in the house. The house also has an extra full bath, and a full bath is very expensive. So that, I think, should be consideration. And then there are a couple of little other things that, I laugh about, but this house also has a generator. I don't know if a whole house generator gets deducted out of the sales price, but it is part of the value of the house that somebody paid to have. And then the other little thing that, I laugh about, but the house has a hot tub. And I'm guessing that probably nowhere in the reduction is any of those two things considered. So I think my issue probably is with the amount of reduction. Well, two things. One, the inaccuracy of the house next door, which we can't talk about, plus the choice of the comps here. And I'm certainly glad to discuss the other two comps, because I don't think they're terribly done. I don't think I would have chosen those two houses as fair comps. I think my calculation takes into so much of averages to eliminate, does the house have a generator? Does the house have a hot tub? Does the house have a pool? Does it have a landscape backyard? Does it have a flat backyard? My particular house, we have a virtually unusable backyard because of the slope of the lot. So, and we've not renovated and not seen fit to do so. So, anyway, that's.
Let me see if members of the board have questions. Mr. O'Keefe, any questions for Mr. McDonald, Mr. Smith?
I'm a save for the county.
Okay. Mr. McDonald, if you would, maybe just have a seat and let us hear from the county, and then I'll give you a chance for any final comments you'd like to make.
So our original valuation on the property was $1,001,800. I ran my own analysis on the property yesterday and resubmitted this to Mr. McDonald to take a look at, which is on page 28. Again, he indicated that the number one comp was a fairly good comp in his eyes. And after adjusting out, you'll notice at the bottom, it adjusts out to a sale price of $1,006,000, which is very similar to our original value. I went outside the neighborhood for two additional comps. Now, there are lots of sales within Brookhaven, but the problem is that Mr. McDonald built in the larger lot section, and he is one of the smallest houses in that section. So most everything in there is a larger house, which makes things a little more complicated because, as you realize.
That's what I'm seeing here, I think. You
Yeah.
might want to take a look at this, but that's what
Yeah, so, again, the smaller the house, the higher the dollar per. That's just it's a
Per square foot.
general rule of thumb in real estate, correct. So, I went outside looking for good plus, same quality, same grade homes in the area, and came up with two 2024 sales, one larger than his, one smaller than his. But other characteristics very similar as far as year built, slightly larger acreage, square footage, and such. And then when we take the moving average, we end up at 993, which again is very similar to our original value. So that's the reason why I went outside of the neighborhood is it's a situation where unfortunately he's the smallest house in a neighborhood with a bunch of large homes, and he built on one of the larger lots. There are a couple of sections in Brookhaven, whereas, and we can go up just a little bit, and you'll see these are a little bit more smaller lots. I'm not going to say row houses by any stretch of the imagination in a neighborhood like Brookhaven, but you can see there is a visible difference between this section of Brookhaven and the section next to it with the larger lots. So it just so happens he's a smaller house on a larger lot in a very nice area of Brookhaven. And at the end of the day, the comps support the value. By the way, and I know we're not supposed to consider it, he brought it to the attention of the board. 1119, his neighbor, which sold in May, we have that valued at 1.076 versus the value on his home.
Just from an equity standpoint.
Just
yeah.
from an equity
Yeah.
standpoint.
Okay.
We've got his neighbor valued at 75,000 higher than we have him.
Okay.
500 square foot difference
Okay.
between the two houses.
Okay.
So
Let
that's
me
all I
see
have.
if, Mr. Smith, you have any questions for Mr. Parker?
These comps that are outside, are they in the same school district? Do you know?
I believe so. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that they are. I'd have to verify that.
That does make it, he's right on the border there.
For Weddington?
Well, for schools in
saying.
Weddington, yeah.
Yeah.
I believe
These are close in,
This one, I believe, goes to Weddington.
Weddington.
It does.
And whatnot.
It does. That's correct.
I don't know which way these are, if they do
Yeah.
or don't.
I'm pretty sure I pulled within the same school district.
Okay. That was my question.
Mr. O'Keefe?
No questions right now. This is an interesting piece of information.
Yeah. I'd maybe like to pass that to you.
Happy to digest
You
it.
take a look at it.
Sure.
And,
It's difficult for us to really analyze it, considering we haven't seen it before now. So
Right.
it'd be impossible for us to draw a conclusion off the information we just received.
yeah, and I think Mr. Parker maybe hit on it, though. I mean, there's a lot of good sales data in there with the dates, but the majority of those homes are larger.
Way larger.
Almost
larger
all of them
than this.
except for, and I pulled the last 40
There's a few of
sales.
them that are close, yeah.
Sorry, I pulled the last 40 sales over the last approximately 2 years. And I believe that he was the second smallest out of 40 sales.
Right, okay.
So that gives you an indication of size.
I was just assuming with the number of homes in there and the number of sales, you had probably come across a lot of that data, but I just would like for you to look at it since we looked at it.
Sure.
And since he had it.
Sure,
So,
absolutely.
Okay, all right, thank you. Any final comments, Mr. McDonald?
Well, a couple things. One, the small lot houses, in my analysis, I eliminated. They're, you can tell the difference between them because they have the garage facing the street. And so I took those out and eliminated those because they do sell for less money. And some of them actually sell for some low price per square foot. But I didn't think that was a fair comparison, so I eliminated all of those.
Okay.
And, you know, we're not talking about the house that was appraised at $1,276,000 by the county, sold for $980,000. And so, you know, that's another calculation that I did not put anywhere, that supports where I think the value should be.
Okay,
And it's 500 square feet bigger than my house.
okay. Thank you very much for
Okay,
the
thank you.
information. Okay, thank you. Okay.
All right, that takes us to hearing number 13, which are the staff recommendations on your addendum A. And these are the ones that have been settled between the county and the taxpayer.
Yeah, wait a minute. 13,
Flip
addendum A.
that far to get there.
Okay, any questions?
Make a motion, we accept addendum A.
Well, we'll
as-
probably we'll come back. Yeah, yeah.
During deliberations, yeah,
question.
we'll have to start over. I'm just bringing your attention. Do you have any questions on
Okay.
those? Okay. And then, excuse me, hearing number 14 is your addendum B. And this is the ones without agreement, where we have noticed the taxpayer of the value that the county has concluded with
Gotcha.
and did not hear back from the taxpayer.
Board, could just take a moment to look at those. And we'll come back to it too. All right,
All right, and then that'll take us back to hearing number 1, which is still up on the screen, so we won't need to relocate the property for you. So this was for property key number 07150238 for Jane McDonald.
okay. Any comments there? I mean, there was a lot of additional information presented, but I think, we could table it and give them time to look at it, but I hate,
Well, it's been presented,
yeah,
so he wouldn't have to come back.
yeah. And,
They can review and make a recommendation. As
with,
is, or,
with Mr. McDonald still here and the county still here, would it be appropriate to come back to this one, would it give the county enough time to glance through and look through that information so we don't have to table it? Is that,
Since I didn't see the information, I'll refer to the county to let
Yeah.
them see what the information was that was provided and if they have a chance to do that
Yeah.
before deliberation is over
Yeah.
today.
So I think at the end of the day, the majority of the information is, we're talking about much larger heated per square foot. We're talking about much larger homes.
that's what I
then-
saw at a quick glance now.
So the 2024 sales, the smallest one on here is 3691, which is actually the #1 comp that we used as well.
That's what I wanted to know. I saw that one at the bottom of the
Correct.
page.
That is
Okay.
the smallest, and everything else is above that. So again, when we start talking about dollar per square foot, size of house, he is significantly smaller in that section where it's just gotten much larger. So
Okay.
his dollar per square foot is ultimately going to be higher than everyone else's.
Right.
So,
Okay. Thank you for looking at that so quick.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, we have this issue with a number of them, the smaller houses, because the land value stays the same. The land value stays the same
right,
no matter what.
right.
Unless it's a different size lot, but, usually they're comparable lots, therefore the price per,
Yeah.
per square foot ends up getting driven up by the lot size,
Yeah.
no matter what you do.
Exactly.
And with the analysis he presented, I mean, he came in at 927, the county's at $1 million, they're at $1 million. and
Basically,
some change.
$1,001,000.
Yeah, million. And, it is a smaller house versus a larger house, and that's going to be
That's what the
the math.
difference is, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
So what's the pleasure of the board here?
I recommend that we accept the county's valuation
Okay,
at
so-
1
Second.
million.
So I have a motion to accept the current value from the county from Mr. O'Keefe, a second from Mr. Smith. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. So the motion's carried for the current value to remain on tab 1 of $1,001,800.
All right, hearing number 2 was for property key number 05084035 for John and Mary Hayes. And if you would like the county to relocate that property for you on the screen, we can do so.
Yeah, it might be good on this one.
This is the big discussion about a road that may or may not come, right?
Well, that, and then the lack of use of the property
Can't use it.
from the way he presented it. And,
Well, he can,
He can use it.
Very usable.
Yeah.
But it's not subdividable. And there is, but I think they're already given some impairment for the septic on it, if I remember.
yeah, on this one, the notes I have, on 3 acres of it, it was reduced 45% for topo.
Yeah, topo.
And that was down between the road and the railroad track?
No,
Yeah.
I think
No,
it was
it's
up at the top.
Oh, it's up the top?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then comes the question should there be consideration for between the road and the railroad track? Being
The
at
county
such,
says they don't see any.
I know they don't. But if you had to use it, if you use it as a horse farm, you'd have to fence it off on that side of the road, because you couldn't let the animals come across.
Right.
It would be an issue. Then all you got basically is timber value on a few acres. From just a practical use, I understand how they say we don't give any, but you look at the next one up to the right, well,
I'm wondering
the
if we could
road's
more-
it, the way
Could
it
you put
goes.
more topo on it?
Yeah.
Can we put the topo lines on it?
I don't think the topo issue on the bottom is an issue. It's just if you want to use
Wasn't
it,
real
the
steep,
railroad,
but the lines weren't real tight on it.
is topo on.
There you go.
It's faint, I'm sorry.
They're faint, yeah, yes.
So
Can you cut the aerials off?
It slopes down,
Not
it looks
on-
like.
Can I cut it off on Eagle View? No, I don't think on Eagle View I can cut it. What about on GIS?
I know with the transportation discussions, the area transportation, this thing's been all over the place, and there's a lot of opposition from the surrounding
I don't
towns to
think
do
we can
this.
go there. I just don't
It
think we
just,
can go
I
there.
don't know if this thing's
Yeah.
ever gonna happen.
No, I mean, it could be 20 years, man. I mean,
It
I
could
kind of
be.
get where the taxpayer's coming from,
Yeah.
because that discussion's going to come up. you
Sure.
know, But as far as in the scope of what we can do,
That's,
yeah, we, now, I'm trying, I wanted to look at the topo again. I mean,
Yeah, it looked like it was pretty sloping there, but I couldn't, it's hard to see.
because it's
The colors are hard for me to see.
10, usually it's purple or something, you see it better.
Yeah, but these aren't.
Because the tighter, and I'd like to be corrected if I'm wrong, the tighter topo line
Is steeper.
was the steeper part, and that was approximately 3 acres. But there's topo on the rest of it. Could you apply like 25% to the 7 acres? And
I would, well, I would think across the,
I mean, the topo was applied here. Is
Expand out.
that right?
where was the topo applied?
Was the topo applied right in here?
Yes, you can kind of see there's a natural, you can see kind of it's almost like a stream that runs through that center right there, down through the road to the corner of the property there.
I don't see the stream. You see the stream?
Well, I think that's
think you're
what
good.
that is, where it's kind of a wide area that curves through there.
Yeah.
No, I think it's fine, 'cause it shows.
And then it's really,
Tighter here. You got the same thing here.
Yeah.
It's just not as bad.
and it gets tight at the bottom down here
Yeah.
across the road, really tight by the track.
Yeah.
Some of that may already be included.
That's what I don't know.
Yeah. Is the county able to show us the approximate area of where the topo was applied? It was 3 acres of topo. Just the general area. I mean, it must be the tighter.
So, and again, this is approximate, but we took a look at the fact that this seemed to kind of be the lowland that kind of ran through here,
Right.
similar to this in the center, and it kind of heads down towards here. I'll just kind of leave it like this. But if it goes up a little bit further, then it comes down a little further. I'm sorry, I'm not doing a good job with the measure here.
But it's in that general area is where.
Yes, correct, where things are a little bit tighter. Okay, and that's approximately 1.66, so, if we expand out this way and down towards the corner, but, ultimately, and again, I apologize for my drawing skills here. Where it gets to be a little bit larger, that's 2.75 right there.
Okay.
So, if we go, again, there's about 3 acres right there. Hopefully that gives you a better understanding.
Trying to keep it consistent
Yeah,
and not
not double.
do you give him like 25%. You hear me, Bob?
Well, if they've already given 3,
He's getting 45 on the tighter area. Do you give him 25 on the 7 acres?
I wouldn't have a problem.
I wouldn't either.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not going over the top of this again.
No.
You're just taking the other area.
Yeah. It is.
I'll make it in the form of a motion, I'll make it in the form of a motion that we apply 25% topo on the remaining acreage. I don't know what that comes to. So I understand 3 acres, there's 45% applied, but the other area where it hadn't been applied, which is approximately 7 acres, applied 25% yet.
I'll second it.
Okay. So in the form of a motion, have a second from Tom. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. So motion's carried for that reduction to be made on hearing 2.
Would you repeat it real quick so I make sure I have it straight?
That we would apply, you've applied 45% to 3 acres. So on the remaining acreage, we would like to apply 25% to it. Topo. Okay. And all those other issues around it, to me, that's maybe the best way to deal with it.
Probably the fairest way to do it.
And I don't know, maybe while, it might be Mr. Hayes might need to call you back in a day or two to kind of know where that value falls. But, or if you can kind of get, if you're able to give him an idea why he's here, fine, but, so, okay.
All right, so that takes us to hearing number 3 for property key number 05084036, also for John and Mary Hayes.
And that's the home site,
Yeah.
up above. And they've already
Yes,
applied.
that was the vacant parcel right there, and then his
Yeah.
dwelling is on the parcel above there, so that's the parcel.
Topo's already been applied there, if I got my notes right.
Yep.
And that, I think,
Topo wetland has been applied.
yeah, from the taxpayer, it was pretty much the impact of the bypass, which is out there. I don't know that we can do anything more with that.
I recommend that we accept the county's valuation.
So I've got a motion from Mr. O'Keefe
I'll do the second so we can move on.
Yeah, and then a second from Mr. Smith. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. So motion's carried for the current value to remain on tab 3 of $976,300.
All right, that'll take us to hearing number 5 for property key number 02199005B for Derek and Karen Hodge.
So the lot's already been applied. It's been, 75% unbuildable's been applied to the whole thing. Of course, the current value still stands at 13.7. In the notes I have, what the board reduced it in 21 from 8,200 to 3,100, so it's gone up from 3,100 to 13.7.
This is a long-term solution here, is to keep it in grass, or whatever we want to call it, is to get it into the program with
Yeah, I mean,
with the rest of it.
we strongly recommended for the taxpayer to explore that and put it in the use value
Well,
program.
then it becomes part of larger acreage, which is lower value
Right,
too.
He can still keep it separate.
And if you,
Yeah.
if you go to farm with it, it's even, I mean, that's the solution. That's going to
Yeah.
save him money.
Right.
Well, I guess the question is the value per acre of the property he owns to the left different than this little small parcel? Which is nothing
I would
but,
think the gross value.
I'm talking
would be-
about per acre.
Yeah, per acre, the gross value probably on the smaller piece would be higher, but it's adjusted down.
It should be adjusted down because it's all floodplain
Well,
and
yes,
topo.
and they've applied the
Yeah,
75%
it's
unbuildable.
75%.
Yeah.
But I just wonder if the base number started off comparable or not comparable.
Right.
That's my question.
You want to see the contours of this?
What, I was just wondering what the original,
No, do you want to see the contours on this?
Yeah.
well, I know the contour is horrible. They showed it to us earlier for this piece.
They didn't show this.
I thought so. I thought they showed the flood. I'm
It's a
sorry.
hill.
Flood covered the whole thing, basically.
I have a little bit of a problem where we took it down before.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
Well, my point, my question is, you look at the value that this was assigned originally, because it's a small parcel, versus the big parcel that's always gonna be at a lower price. Usually it's at a lower price before you get to any discounts.
Right, that's what, yeah.
And this parcel, in my mind, being they're owned comparably together, the base price shouldn't start off per acre higher than the property to the left. If it is, I don't know. That was my you see where my thinking is? You look at it on a combined basis, then put the discount to whatever that price was.
I think I saw that.
Because he's appealing that one and the next one, isn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, but the gross value per acre for the smaller tract before any adjustments are probably gonna be higher
Yes.
than the one on the left.
But
Right.
being he owns both of them and they're adjacent,
Right,
thinking
Yeah.
that the value shouldn't be any different between the two gross before you start.
I think it has to be, as long as he's got them separate though.
Well, we
Yeah.
talked about this
Yeah.
before.
Yeah, yeah,
And it just seems to me hard to put a higher value on an adjacent piece
right,
that could be combined or probably should be combined.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah. You
I
with
just,
us-
I
you
just
with us, Bob?
philosophically have a
I'm
hard
trying
time
to
with
figure
that
out what this
concept,
would cost per acre.
that little piece per acre is higher than the main big piece. Because I would contend basically they ought to be worth the same per acre, then you put the discount on the.
Yeah, I just don't know that they can do that though. I think
I
until it's,
think they can, because I
Well-
thought I heard that before.
You had one month back.
well, I would just think if it's a separate parcel though, and it's smaller, through their analysis,
I know through their
it's
analysis,
gonna be a higher price per acre. Now, it's had adjustments applied to it to get that value down.
but of course then
Right,
we have latitude.
right. And I'm just wondering here, as we look at if we took it from 8,200 to 3,121, I'm just trying to think how you stay consistent with what we did before.
Yes.
And I'm just talking about the small piece.
I'm trying to figure out it would make sense logically that it's part of.
That's what I want to look at.
I mean, it's a little bit of an
See, there-
oddball piece of land by the way he acquired it.
See, it's just over 10,000 an acre for the big tract.
Right.
And we're at, yeah, I saw it here. I flipped back too far.
I'm doing some math here real quick, but
We're at, what, 19 on the smaller?
Yeah, it was 19 on the smaller. That's where my problem comes in. Before you give the discount. That's how they got to these lower numbers, Dutch, on this thing before. I think they valued them comparable per acre and then discounted.
you know,
I
I'm
mean,
op- I'm-
it's running at twice the gross value per acre as the property next to it
yeah,
because of size.
yeah. And I think with
And it's
the-
inaccessible.
yeah,
Yes.
well, to me, he's got access.
Well, he's got
He
access,
owns-
well, he
owns
has
the rest.
it, but it just
Well-
makes no sense that it's a separate piece of property.
I think with the smaller number here we're dealing with, if we do adjust, we just take it down to a number, which is what I think happened in 21.
Well,
You just-
I would use the property, the per
Hit-
acre
hit-
of the big one, then do the adjustment off
Yeah.
of that number to get for the 1 acre.
Yeah,
To me, that would be fair.
That seems like a way to get it
yeah.
done. And what really needs to happen is that
He needs to combine it and he needs to put it in the farm program.
It's gonna make-
Yeah, but I mean, that's up to him to do.
That's up to him to do,
Yeah.
not us.
Yeah.
Right now, we
Yeah.
can certainly
Yeah.
equalize.
I think we ought to help him on that little thing.
That's what I'm thinking. I mean, you just take it down by a number, though. I mean,
Well, I would just say, you know, if you got $9,800 per acre on the big tract, and this is, how many acres is this? 1.4, figure that math, and then take the 45% off.
it's 75.
Somebody, or 75%
Yeah.
off, excuse me. Somebody do the Jethro Bodine ciphering on that.
Yeah. So here, I can do that. I mean, so we got 1.4 acres times,
I think it was 98. Let me double check again what it was valued at.
10,387 on the big acreage.
Hold on.
What number do you need?
I was looking at the grid. I don't know what page it was on.
57 for case 5 and 45
I'm looking,
on case
your case 6 is what I was looking for.
45.
Yes. That's mean value. What was the final value was subject 10,387. Correct?
okay, so
Yes.
10,387. That's a gross value of 14,541. 1.4 acres times 10,387. Okay. Current value is 13,700.
Then you do the discount.
Okay. And then take 7, let's see what. Well, that's taking 20.
Would you multiply by 0.25?
Yeah, I need to do that. I did it by point. 10,387. Hold on just a minute.
Yes.
1.40. Times 10,387 times 0.25. Yeah, that's 3635. I mean, it's kind of getting to where I was thinking. I mean,
Yeah.
you take it to about.
I'm just doing
You just gotta
mathematical
take it
way
to-
to get there.
Take it to about $5,000 or something.
Well, I would
Yeah.
use that number.
Yeah.
It's logic. It's straight
Yeah,
logic.
Okay. Go ahead.
Give me the number.
Yeah. 3635.
Make a motion, we valued at 3635.
So I have a motion from Tom to reduce it to 3,635.
Second.
A second from Mr. O'Keefe. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. So the motion's carried to reduce the parcel from 13.7 down to 3635 for hearing
And
five.
this one calls y'all fits next time y'all do the revow.
And that just moves it right into where it needs to be.
Yeah, and it's just going, I think, Mr. Hodge, you know,
They
if
need
he
to
leaves
do
it
what they
separate,
need to do.
it's going to come up again at the next revow.
And it's 40 acres ought to go in the farm
Yeah.
program.
I will note that the system will round that, so it'll be 3,600.
Yeah,
We can go to-
that'll be fine. That'll be fine. Okay, and then we go to, well, I'll let the clerk call it. I'm sorry. Okay.
All right, so that brings us to hearing number 6, and that was for property key number 02-199-011, also for Derek and Karen Hodge.
Yeah, Tom, as you mentioned, I mean, it really needs to go in the use value program.
Yeah, it's one of these that unfortunately all open land has gone up considerably in value.
It's hard to see those lines.
Well, he's got some topo in there, but it's being farmed as it is. You know, he's got, I think didn't y'all take some out for wetlands on this one?
Yeah, the light green area.
Yeah.
Up there. But is it just the open field that's being farmed, or is the timber in a tree?
He's not in the program.
that's right,
He needs to
that's
put
right,
it all
yeah,
in the,
yeah.
farm forestry program, agricultural program,
Yeah.
and he would do himself a lot of good.
And if the goal is to keep it as open land, if that's what.
Be in the
you want to do,
program.
This is how you do it.
Yeah. And then, still, irregardless if he's in the program or not,
Yeah.
you
It's
still
up to
got the
him.
value. But you still got the value. It's the
We got the
value.
value the way it is,
Yeah.
and I think it's up to him, if he wishes to file to go in the program, and then it would come to us as a late filing,
Yeah.
if it's accepted or whatever it may
Right.
be. And that could be down the road,
Yeah.
but
Okay,
he has to do something to make it happen.
right. And
So
then
I make a
possibly-
motion, we accept the county's value.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
So the motion's carried for the value to remain with a recommendation that they explore the use value program on hearing 6.
All right, hearing number 7, property key number 06-07-5058 for Brian Hickey.
I didn't see anything here. The county's following their schedule of values for an
Yeah.
unfinished basement
Yeah.
versus a finished basement.
And there
There's
were
only about-
adjustments and everything done to it by schedule of values, so.
Yeah, the taxpayer's at $1,042,000. The county's at $1,125,000. I mean, I didn't see anything.
I don't see anything that jumps out that's,
Yeah.
I mean, it comes down to, what I heard was the difference between a finished and an unfinished basement.
Right.
And
and what may be actual or not in the schedule of values being different, but we have to use schedule of
Right.
values. And
But it's
that's
different.
just the way.
Yeah.
And his unfinished basement was considerably larger than the finished basements of the other ones. He has a huge amount of unfinished basement down there
Right.
that could be finished. But
I make a motion that the current value remain at $1,125,900.
second,
And second for Mr. Smith. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. So the motion is carried for the current value to remain at $1,125,900 for hearing 7.
Hearing number 8 was for property key number 06180275 for Daryl and Vicky Shipman.
I didn't. This is the one, I think, in Providence Downs.
yeah,
Correct.
this is Providence Downs.
Yeah. And I didn't, there wasn't anything provided to us to hang our hat on. I mean, it's
That's
up,
the thing, I mean,
it's, like we state before every meeting, I mean, the burden's on the taxpayer to present the information to us. I just didn't see.
and I see how the value got there from the county, so
Yeah.
I recommend that we accept the county's valuation.
Okay, so we have a
1 million.
motion from Mr. O'Keefe for the
Second.
current value to remain, a second from Mr. Smith. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. So the motion is carried for the current value to remain at $1,357,100 for hearing 8.
Okay, hearing number 9 was property key 093364442, taxpayer Eric and Angela Franklin, and they were not present today.
What's the pleasure of the board here?
Recommend that we accept the clearance value at $274,300.
So I have a motion for the
Second.
current value to remain, a second from Mr. Smith. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. So the motion is carried for the value, current value to remain at $274,300 for hearing 9.
All right, hearing number 10 was for property key number 082160003C. That was for Myra Bumgarner, and she was present today.
Yeah. And I think she had a little bit of frustration, but the county, owned up there was a little bit of a mistake there, and I don't know, it looks like this has been fixed to me. I mean,
Yeah, I think so too. It's,
Unfortunately, there's a value to something that can't be used.
Right.
yes,
And-
that's,
It holds the earth together.
Yeah, and she was assuming 0, but it's not 0.
I got an issue like that at the beach with the unbuildable lot that's
Yeah.
valued at a fraction of a buildable lot, and
Yeah.
you can imagine,
Well, and
it does nothing for you.
You can sell land that doesn't perk. I mean,
Oh, I
at a
know.
lot, at a very reduced rate, which has been done. So,
Yep. There is value to it.
Right.
It's just not much. I
So
make a
what's-
motion, we accept the county's 22,400.
So I have a motion from Mr. Smith.
Second.
For the current value to remain at $22,400, a second from Mr. O'Keefe. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. So the motion is carried for hearing 10 for the current value of $22,400 to remain.
All right, that will take us to hearing number 13, which is your addendum A, which were the settled staff recommendations.
I didn't see anything that stuck out to me there.
I'd say the county was generous in places.
Yeah, looks like it. So, I make a motion that we accept the staff recommendations as presented.
second.
Second from Mr. O'Keefe. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign.
That takes us to hearing number 14, which is your addendum B. This is where the tax office has notified the taxpayer of the value and did not get anything back, saying they wish to appeal today.
I make a motion, we accept addendum B as stated.
Yep. So I have a motion from Mr. Smith.
Second.
Second from Mr. O'Keefe. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. So motion's carried for the consent agenda to be approved as presented.
And that takes us to the end of the agenda today.
Okay? So we meet next, the 10th, Wednesday, okay?
I will not be here.
Mr. Smith will not be here. I think I'm getting back Tuesday night, so I should be here. I wasn't gonna be here originally, but I'll be here, it looks like, Wednesday. So, yeah, okay, okay. Motion to adjourn, any other business? Okay,
Make a motion to adjourn.
have a motion, second. All those approved?
Yep.
Aye, opposed, like sign, we are adjourned. Mm, 10 after 7. Huh.
Yeah, where they give you the note, they don't have it